Pastor Phillip Anthony Mitchell goes on to a podcast called With the Perrys, and he speaks about his experience in Israel and how this experience led him to become the pastor that he is today. When I tell you guys this man is official and he is a true man of God, he only confirms it while on this podcast, okay? Let's go ahead and watch this video and react to it. Before we do me a quick favor. Hit that like button for the YouTube algorithm so that this video can reach more people like yourself. I truly appreciate you guys, and if you're not already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and tap that subscribe button, and let's hop into this video right now. Let me just say this real quick, all right? I almost shed a tear while listening to this particular part of the video, and that's honestly why I really want to show you guys this part. His honesty and his love for the Lord and his sacrifice is just so evident in his life and his walk and in his sermons, the way that he preaches. And it was awesome to hear. Okay. I really think you guys should watch the entire thing. I'm going to interject from time to time, give my opinions or statements or something like that. But watch this thing, and I think it's going to bless y'all. All right, let's hop into it.
Came out of that was a type of ferocious prayer life. Like I said to somebody the other day, like, my preaching is okay, but that's not even the strongest part of my ministry. The strongest part of my ministry is my prayer life. And it came out of that season of persecution, right? Something was forged in the fire. And so for me, and then what also came out of that was over time of preaching about God's holiness and preaching about and kind of trying to awaken the American church. What came out of that was also, for me, it was this gradual, ongoing dying of self to things that, for lack of a better term, it did not matter to me anymore. Yeah. So when I say stuff like this, people think I'm being extra, but I'm serious when I say this, right? Like, it got to the point where, like, crowds didn't matter to me. Numbers in church didn't matter to me. How much money the church had, these things didn't matter to me. If people called me to preach, I did not care. I stopped caring about likes on Instagram. I stopped caring about all this stuff. I stopped caring about all the things that was filling my heart before, that I felt like even if God did it for me when I was asking for it, I wouldn't have been mature enough or had the character to sustain it. Yeah. Right? You know what I'm saying? And so I stopped caring about all this stuff. And what happened to me, and people say when I say this, they think I'm spooky. Right? Somebody called me spooky. Okay. Right? Yeah.
That's a weird word.
Yeah, a female is weird, right? Somebody called me spooky. It got to the point where I grew so focused on eternity that a lot of the stuff we would just be attached to down here just stopped mattering to me. So there is like a disconnect I have from stuff down here. It's like when I said, like, for me, when I think like success is what Paul said, I want to finish my race. I want to say I fought the good fight. I think about that crown I'm going to get. I will even go so far as to say, I don't even know if I have a will. As I'm sitting here talking to you right now, I don't even know if I have a will. I used to have one. Like, Lord, I want to do this. I want to do that. I don't even know if I still have one right now. I feel like I've been so burned on the inside by that fire. I just want to be faithful. And I just want to finish well.
Okay, real quick. Let me give you guys a backstory to why he's saying this, if you don't already know his story. So he went to Israel. I think he stayed there for like 10 days or something like that. And while he was there, a man that spoke Portuguese came up to him and said he was speaking to him, but he couldn't understand him because he doesn't speak Portuguese. It just so happened that another person that was on a tour with him spoke in Portuguese. And so he was telling Pastor Mitchell what the man was saying. And the man was saying that the Lord was telling Pastor Mitchell, do you want to go? And I'm kind of paraphrasing, but he was telling him, do you want to go to America and change the way that things are in the church? And it broke Pastor Mitchell down, and he fell on his knees and started crying. And in the midst of this, a bunch of people circled him and started praying for him and laying hands on him. And in the midst of them laying hands on him, he felt this fire in his body, just like this consuming fire grow in his body. And after that entire event, he's been on fire for the Lord ever since. And he's, like he said, he stopped caring for a lot of the things that we care about. He stopped caring about the numbers of the church and all of that. So that's Exactly. That's what he's talking about. And that was the backstory. Okay, let's continue on.
If I fear anything in this life, I fear God and I fear not finishing well. I just want to finish well. And now there's things happening in our ministry now was things I was praying for 10 years that God never did. And now that it's happening, it's like it doesn't even affect me. It's like it doesn't make me feel more lifted up. In fact, it makes me feel more afraid.
Yeah.
Like when our church grew from a couple hundred to a couple thousand, there's 3,000 people there on Sunday. When they started giving me, because I stopped looking at money and all that other stuff. Maybe that doesn't make me a good pastor. I don't look at the money. But when they came to me and gave me a report on finances and attendance and all this stuff, and I'm looking at this, pride crept in. I started feeling myself just a little bit. And right before my sabbatical, I went and locked myself in a hotel for a week with just my Bible, a legal pad, a pen, and a jug of water. And I fasted. And I had to wring that sin out of my heart. I had to
saying that on stage.
I had to wring that out, right?
Wring it out.
Yeah. So I feel like there's things happening now, and like 2819 is a mega church, and that don't make me feel lifted up.
Yeah.
Let me just say this real quick, okay? And guys, I know there are great pastors out there. I'm speaking more of the pastors that are on TV and they have a huge, large church and a huge following. I don't hear this kind of stuff from other pastors. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. I don't hear from certain pastors saying that when they found out that they were having a lot of success, instead of celebrating the success, he felt some pride in his mind and in his spirit, and he locked himself in a hotel room for a week, fasted, and kept a pad and a Bible with him for a week because he felt a little bit of pride. That right there is, man, the discipline and the love for God and the zeal for God and the just the commitment to being the man that God has called him to be. It is so evident. I probably couldn't do that. I probably wouldn't do that because it wouldn't just pop into my mind to do that. But it does for him. And I just think that's awesome. I think that's awesome.
But when it was victory, I want my church to be mega and I want thousands. It was so much vanity.
Yeah.
And I feel like if God would have did that then, it would have ruined me.
Yeah.
Now there's stuff happening that I believe for that it's not affecting me to the point like, oh, I'm all this. And like, what is Phillip?
Yeah.
What is Jackie? What is Preston? Like you sent me that text on Sunday morning, right? From Paul. Like, what is all this stuff? Like, neither the one who does any of this is nothing, right? Only the one who makes things grow.
Yeah.
So I feel like that encounter with God was my theophany. For those watching, it's just I don't want to be preachy, right? It's
No, preach yourself.
Okay. It's just a theological term for when a person gets a revelation of who the Lord truly is. And that moment for me in Israel was my theophany moment in which I saw the Lord for who he really is. And it changed.
That's good.
It just changed everything, bro.
That's good.
I want to get practical for a second because we said last episode, you be sending texts at like 4:44 a.m.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this man is up praying. You understand? So when you were going through the persecution and trial, and you said it drove you into prayer, was it a fight to become disciplined? Was it a choice? Like, I'm just gonna did you start scheduling it out but until it became a natural practice? Like, what did that look like?
I think for me, that's a great question, right? And so y'all are dope. Y'all need to do a this podcast thing, like y'all, no wonder y'all got like millions of people following y'all on your podcast, y'all. I think it was not disciplined because I am not naturally disciplined. I'm only disciplined because I like the results that it give. But I'm not naturally the most disciplined person. But my life is highly disciplined and regimented because I like the results that it give. So for me, and I think this might help somebody, the prayer life and created in me that I tag as ferocious was out of neediness. I feel like because of the persecution I was going through, because of the heat I was experiencing, I needed God at another level. And so for me, because I have a big family, I got to get stuff done before they wake up. So now I'm getting up every morning at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
And I'm crying out to God. And what started happening, this is a true story. I would get up every morning at 4 a.m. I go down to my prayer room. I start praying. And by the time I get up to open my Bible, I had been there 4 hours, 5 hours and not realize it. this over a period of time became so normal that now I can't live without that. Like I need that time with God. So even to this day, man, I'm up 4 a.m. I'm praying.
This is crazy, man. This is crazy. He said he spends 4 to 5 hours a day reading his Bible. And I'm not trying to discredit Pastor Todd. I'm not trying to discredit him. But Pastor Todd said he hates reading the Bible or something along the lines of that. I can't remember word for word, but I think he said something like he just doesn't like to study the Bible or something like that. This pastor saying that this is his routine. He studies the Bible for 4 to 5 hours a day. A day, man. This is not no weekly thing. This is a day, every day. And so, yes, of course, the word of God is just going to be all over you when you're reading it that long. That's a quarter of a day. He spends almost a fifth of a day studying the Bible. Let that sink in real quick. And that'll let you know what pastors are actually spending quality time with God and his word, and what pastors are just doing good, but not pushing it, not putting their all into it, I guess.
I'm crying. I'm shedding tears. And I could be alone with the Lord for 4 or 5 hours and it feel like 5 minutes. So I don't talk about that in a boastful way because I don't want people to feel like, oh, you're so disciplined in prayer. For me, it was born out of neediness. Yeah. And it just became an attachment to God now where I actually enjoy that time more than anything else. The only thing I enjoy more than spending that time is being with my wife and laying in bed with my wife and being sexually intimate with my wife and spending time with my family. I like being at home. I'm like borderline introvert, extrovert, so I like being at home with my family. That's the only thing I enjoy more than my prayer time. Outside of my family and intimacy with my wife, I like being alone with the Lord, like almost like an introvert likes being with himself. That brings me more joy than anything else in this life. I could just be with him for hours and sense him anywhere. And so that wasn't born out of discipline. It was born out of neediness.
Yeah. What was crazy, I was telling a friend.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, completely.
But I was telling a friend, I was like, yo, Phillip is really like this off the stage. You know what I'm saying? Because I've had the opportunity to spend time with you, you know what I'm saying, doing your sabbatical or whatever. We went to a couple of different cities and we went to London and stuff like that.
I appreciate that too, bro.
First
time in London.
Yeah, it was dope. It was a dope time.
That was dope time.
But I would often see you, you know, like this, just going off, praying by yourself. Like even when we was in Miami, just going off, praying by yourself. I'll be like, well, Phillip. And then I hear some music in the back. I'm like, oh, he's back there just praying by himself. I'm like, okay, we finna barbecue. You know what I'm saying? And you just in a corner or whatever. And the thing that I thought about you when we was out of town was, man, like I think that God like shows you like how much you needed him according to the call that he called you for.
That's
like
good, bro.
Like you need, like I feel like God, like, because what if God would have gave you that responsibility and you still was like operating off the little time that you were spending with him.
That's real.
You know what I'm saying, before that. And I really think that God is like, you know, you need much of me because of what I called you for.
That's real good.
You know what I'm saying? And so like I think that like when, it's just encouraging that when that vanity was stripped from your heart, when that perspective was changed, God started to give you more because God started to give you more of him because he gave you more responsibility.
You know,
Look, I don't even know what to say, y'all, honestly. And look, I read the comments, okay? I remember some comments from the video I did of him last time. People were saying that I was glorifying him, I was lifting him up, praising him. I should only be giving glory to God. Some people said that he's not the only pastor doing this, and their pastor's doing it, and some other pastors are doing it. Some people said that, you know, some people agreed and said that this man is, you know, just an awesome pastor, and they watch him online. My goal here is not to glorify him. Now, I'm not glorifying him. I am lifting him up. I'm giving him praise simply because of his, like I said, his commitment to God. Y'all, what y'all don't understand is this, okay? This man right here plays a big role in my life. He plays a big role in my walk with God. I look at him just like I look at my local pastors that I know, my pastors that I've known for years. I look at him like that. Not that I've known him for years, but I trust his word. I trust his sermons. I trust his knowledge on the Bible. He helps me when I'm falling, or when I'm sinning. He helps me when I'm doing good. He helps me when I need to hear a deep message. And so, yes, I'm not the only one. It's me and 100,000, 200,000 other people online that watch him that feel the same way. And to know that he is not only doing this on a platform, but he's doing it in his everyday walk is amazing. And I thank God that we have a man like that is so disciplined and loves the Lord so much and loves the church so much that he is literally denying himself in life outside of all the church stuff. He's denying himself at home. He's denying himself over the road. He's denying his mind. He's denying his desires. He's trying to live as close as he can to how Jesus lived for the sake of us and himself, but for the sake of us. And I think that's awesome. So yes, he deserves some praise for that. It's not a lot of pastors like that, especially in the field of YouTube and social media. It just isn't. I want to know what you guys think about him, about what he said. I think that he's a generational pastor. I think that over time, he may be the biggest pastor, but for all the right reasons. We have to pray for him so that his heart stays like this. We have to pray so that temptations and demons and Satan's devices do not get to him, or they don't work, or that he continues with this mindset of just giving God glory and praise and leading people to Christ. All right, look, man, let me know what you guys think about this video in the comments section, okay? If you're new to the channel and you like what you see, I encourage you to hit that subscribe button and hit the post notification bell so you do not miss another video. All right, my name is Aaron Page. I'm going to catch y'all on the next video. Until next time, I'm out.